So the Caitlin Clark jersey retirement ceremony has created some of the funniest discourse I have.
One famous basketball legend and two others. Date and number that established the internet. Burning moment Iowa declared they were. Caitlin Clark's number 22 is being retired. On February 2nd, nobody anticipated jersey. The ensuing turmoil.
Genuinely some of the funniest discourse on social media I've ever seen. Because obviously, she's wearing number 22. And they have a game on 2.2, the 2nd of February. They are playing on the 2nd of February at home in Iowa.
1000. South Carolina, miles away, was organizing. Something like A.A. Wilson's retirement. On the same day, number 22 what? Twitter shattered basketball next. And caused one of the most significant disputes surrounding. Prepare yourself for the drama that has the whole basketball world's decision. This entire issue is similar to seeing a film in front of everyone. There will be drama, but no one can stop it. This had been planned by Iowa University. Celebration for several months and, to be honest, their preparation was entirely logical. The face of college is Caitlin Clark. Basketball is the thrill that breaks records. The male athlete who invented women's basketball. Naturally, they wanted to watch TV. Give her a farewell worthy of her influence.
Obviously, they are going to retire number 22's jersey on 2.2. They had planned this months, by the way, because they've had the jersey. People saw it in wherever Iowa play. They saw the jersey up.
What the majority of people. I had no idea Iowa had been so careful. Organizing this event from the start of the season, astute viewers have. I've already seen Clark's number 22 jersey suspended from the rafters in the early. The season games weren't formally, not yet retired, but everyone was aware that arriving at the university had especially asked for a February 2nd home game while creating the season schedule. Why, since February 2nd is here, get it a ideal retirement date number.
Obviously, it's going to be 2.2. Why wouldn't it be? Because, why would it not be 2.2? Because she wears...
The excitement around this event was off the charts at the time of ticket sales. They didn't simply sell out, they blew up. Discussing how tickets can cost up to $1,000 a piece.
It just so happens that there is another number 22. And, you know the way the WNBA media are sharing spotlight? They're sharing spotlight with everyone.
NBA playoff costs for a university. Retirement ceremony for basketball jerseys. However, that is the influence of Caitlin Clark. She's doing more than just smashing scores. Her attendance records are being broken. Attendance figures and the current cost of tickets captures me while I'm down in South Carolina. Another celebration was the Gamecocks made this decision when planning would be ideal for paying tribute to one A.A. Wilson, one of their best players ever. Wilson's legacy is now indisputable, and we're discussing a gold medalist from the Olympics, MVP of the WNBA, and one of the most powerful South Carolina basketball players had been anticipating her number 22 retirement jersey, and they decided on February 2nd as well.
The first post, why the F would y'all retire her jersey the same day as Aja? So Aja's getting her jersey retired. Why were they retired? Because they both wore number 22.
The tickets contrast. Costs were startling, but Iowa supporters were purchasing thousands of tickets for the duration of Wilson's ceremony was. This price differential of $64 would eventually become a key topic of discussion in the creating debate on both sides. Use it to bolster their claims. Supporters of Wilson cited it as proof of disdain, while Clark fans considered it evidence of their players' extraordinary influence on the game. What makes this circumstance especially the timing is intriguing. South following Iowa, Carolina made its announcement, had previously disclosed their intentions to the university was free to select any day they desired because Wilson is their champion, their legend, and hometown hero, but the same decision date as soon as Clark's ceremony. Eyebrows raised on both sides of the basketball world. The response was very instantaneous. Basketball enthusiasts observed the overlap. Minutes away from South Carolina's announcement first, it was only after some intriguing observations, the queries, followed by theories, and, at last, the floodgates opened, revealing how many people tend to overlook the fact that both colleges have entirely legitimate reasons for selecting. Iowa wanted to take advantage of this date, two halves as a sign for their number 22. South Carolina desired to pay tribute to Wilson during a month-long home game when in fact, a WNBA player might go to both. In isolation, the decisions made reasonable, but together, they produced the ideal storm. The fact was fueling the fire that there were more than two rituals that take place on the same day. This dealt with two distinct periods of Wilson and women's basketball colliding. Symbolizes the renowned magnificence of a seasoned champion who has already accomplished Clark everything at every level. Symbolizes the emerging social media thrill that is bringing about previously unheard of focus on the women's match. The schedule conflict went deeper. Problems in women's basketball. Inquiries concerning adherence to the game's history as opposed to looking to the future. Discussions contrasting traditional success with contemporary popularity. Debates over how we give our athletes recognition and who gets to choose how and when to celebrate them. What's really amazing is how a scheduling coincidence turned into a vote about the status of women's basketball. Every little thing turned into examine the timing of the announcements, the cost of the tickets, media attention on social media, responses, all of which contributed to a broader discussion about respect, acknowledgement, and the sport's future. A basic reality was obscured by all of this. Wilson and Clark both deserve their times in which both had merited, have both retired their numbers and made amazing additions to the game. However, social media and instant messaging responses to these festivities. It was no accident that the days fell on the same day. It was a request to controversy once word got out and the argument heated up about what ought to have been a day of joy for both participants was beginning to resemble a battleground for each of their fans' bases, and this was only the first step. The actual fireworks had not yet begun. This was about to change on social media circumstance into one of the largest basketball disputes of the year 2024 when South Carolina made the announcement. Their Wilson's jersey date. Twitter changed to retired basketball. It wasn't simply fans who plunged into complete anarchy. Were squabbling while discussing basketball. Commentators, journalists, retired athletes, and even casual fans are diving right in. Turned become the most contentious basketball discussion of 2024. Let us begin with the first. Some people reacted by calling it insulting. Others described it as a conscious effort to overshadow the moment of Wilson, but Clark. Supporters arrived with receipts that emphasized that Iowa had organized this. Some even shared the date months in advance. Clark's jersey screenshots already hanging around the arena in Iowa since early. Their logic was straightforward. Season games. Iowa chose number 22 because it corresponds with. Clark's number 22 had nothing to do with. It was about disrespect. The debate became much more symbolic. Heated when comparisons began. Ticket costs, according to a tweet that went viral. Admission to Caitlin's jersey. Retirement. Tickets to watch A's jersey cost $11,000. Retirement. $64 makes this price reasonable. Contrast served as a catalyst for. Wilson's supporters used it on both sides as proof of disregard for the WNBA player, but Clark supporters perceived it as evidence of their player's unparalleled influence on the popularity of the game. Then, the arguments on geography came together as one. A viral tweet highlighted the opposing viewpoint of two distinct arenas around the nation. Why should it matter if it was? The ceremonies at a fair point were occurring more than 1,000 miles apart, but in the era of social media and physical Distance isn't really important when you're struggling for the spotlight and the news. The irony that sparked the most discussion was how many Wilson's followers asserted not even Caitlin Clark is watched by them, while tweeting about her at the same time, relentlessly, as one user pointed out to you all. Vouch for your lack of concern for Caitlin Clark, yet is unable to stop talking about her. It makes reasonable that the discussion took an intriguing turn when basketball historians joined the conversation and kept everyone informed that neither Clark nor Wilson was the initial renowned athlete to wear the veterans of the game number 22. Brought up Stephanie and Christie's sides. This is the white person who wore the number at Purdue. Historical viewpoint added another. Add some depth to the debate about respect, using some questioning why we weren't discussing such pioneers, but possibly the most revealing feature of this social media. People were expecting a meltdown would take place as one on February 2nd, offered by a viral tweet as an alternative to, in honor of AA, they will spend the entire ceremony discussing Caitlin. According to Clark and others, Wilson would discuss the dispute during her ceremony, further igniting the fire. The conversation became so heated that many media figures who typically avoid being involved in any issue had to weigh in. Some that demanded unity implies that two numbers. On February 2nd, 22 J retired, which could be regarded as a lovely coincidence. Honoring women's basketball with others considered it a lost chance for the sport to display its stars on different. What caused this social media craze these days? What was very intriguing was how it revealed the more profound rifts inside. Support for women's basketball wasn't simply regarding two events taking place on the same day. Old school came into play, compared to usual success in new schools, contrasted with contemporary popularity and how we evaluate excellence in women's basketball. Some tweets were instantaneous. You can't expect the classics to wait until February 22nd, when one user will be retired, mockingly penned, whilst another replied that you can't count on respect from W or college in terms of honoring individuals that arrived prior to the back and forth was never-ending, with one side growing increasingly well established in their role as the debate raged over an intriguing topic. The controversy truly occurred. Heightened curiosity about both ceremonies. Media outlets that may only have covered one event and are now preparing to discuss the competition brought about by social. The media had unintentionally provided both ceremonies more focus than they may have been delivered individually, but the true question was whether the ceremonies are impacted by the media breakdown themselves would initially be a discussions on Twitter that extend into real planet, and above all, how would Wilson and Clark deal with being unintentionally set against one another by their fervent fan bases. The solution to these inquiries would be made in February 2nd, but it was immediately obvious what ought to have been a straightforward celebration of two legendary basketball players had become something considerably larger because of the increasing social media's influence, and as we'll see this in our upcoming chapter, controversy would ultimately reveal more regarding women's basketball's current situation. More than anyone could have anticipated, what began as a coincidental scheduling event and has disclosed some intriguing information. In 2024, women's basketball will be more than just two ceremonies taking place the same day. The topic is how the sport has changed in direction and the growing pains that accompany extraordinary expansion. Let's take a moment to pause and observe what Caitlin Clark and Wilson is the one represented by A.A. Wilson, the pinnacle of conventional basketball. Olympic gold medalist for excellence, WNBA MVP, NCAA champion, she's accomplished everything. She symbolizes the recognized route to greatness, is the type of achievement that basketball purists value and appreciate. There is no denying her influence on the game, having contributed to transforming South Carolina into a Dawn Staley's powerhouse program during the time. Caitlin Clark is a representative of something really different that she isn't. She is not only a basketball player, but also a phenomena in culture. Her logo, threes no look passes, and smashing records. Her shows have made her a must-watch on television. She is attracting new admirers to women's basketball. Arenas are selling out and producing audience figures that were unimaginable only a few years ago. Check out the costs of her jersey tickets. $11,000 in a collegiate arena for retirement. However, this is when the intriguing part begins. This debate over jersey retirement has revealed a difference in how success is viewed by generations of admirers in basketball. For women, the traditional way highlights individual championships, honors, and conventional measures of success that the new school cites social media influence and cultural impact, with the potential to expand the game's popularity that some detractors have rejected. Clark's statement that she is nothing unique. She only hits the logo 3 times and pass the ball, but as numerous others have noted, determine whether any point guard could perform what she does. It explain why they haven't? The truth is that Wilson and Clark have both evolved the game in their own special manners. A schedule difficulty has also come to light. The way in which women's basketball manages its the most significant occasions should be major. Celebrations should be planned to prevent overlap if there are additional exchange of information between programs, or is conflict of this nature is unavoidable since the sport keeps expanding and producing more moments to remember that are worthy of celebration. What makes this especially ironic? The entire circumstance is that both Clark and Wilson has said nothing but mutual respect in their public life. Remarks, the drama is nearly among all of their fan bases. It's a ideal illustration of how social media can